Hey guys, just doing a quick little video. Just wanted to show. Oh, I can't flip the thing. I'll have to do it the other way. Just wanted to show you a cool little tree. Of course we're in fall. It started on the 21st, or whatever. And so now, don't worry, my hair's falling out like crazy. Tis the season to be internalizing, kind of like shutting down, getting ready for hibernation type stuff, slow down, things like that. I also learned out from a couple things from where I was at work yesterday. So it goes with the theme of this whole thing. So anyways, I wanted to show you, I don't know if you can see it, but I know it's a little, see that tree? The trees are already turning yellow. I've already seen down by the cemetery a couple of them that are completely red on my drive home. Now, of course, when I'm driving, I can't take a picture and I can't pull over because there are other traffic in the way. But I've already seen a couple. There's one down there, actually, a little bit. I don't know if you can see it. See, right down there. It's actually kind of red. And then there's like vines on some of these trees that are actually turning completely red. The bush down below is already turning red. So the top of that bush is turning red. And all these are just definitely signs of fall, of things being shutting down. The trees are like, okay, this is the change of the season. Let's see if we can go out this window. The ones with the screens in them are a little bit difficult. Yeah, there's not really anything there. Sorry, it's kind of the fact that it's darker in the house too, and it gets darker later, or earlier, I mean. So, and of course, all these are all like this is my maple tree thing, and it's got all these little things, the little seed pods that are already pretty much done and gonna be ready to fall off and everything. So like it's a lot of a theme of the change in the season. Okay. Oh, hi bird. It's like right here in the tree. I've got this tree growing up the side of my house, so it's kind of funny. Oh, hi. It's a woodpecker. I don't know if you can see it. Oh, it just flew over there. It was a woodpecker. It was right here on the edge. Well, technically it's not a woodpecker, it's a flicker, I guess. But, like, oh, here it comes back again. See it? It wants to come over here because it hears a bug in the window because our house is, like, falling apart, basically. But that must be the one that is, birds are... Oh, that's a regular downy. It's a downy woodpecker. See, the border of our house is rotting out, and of course it gets bugs in it. So, and I already have, wow, that I have to change the bird feeders and with the bird feed. I guess the deer have been out here knocking the bird seed out of the bird feeders. There's one that's still got stuff in it, so it's fine, but it's kind of funny because the other one I had it's a squirrel proof one, and it's got the that one, it's got the thing over the top of it, and it just does not deter deer that bump it on purpose to drop the seed out of it. The deer are very smart, mind you. So I've been kind of like doing a little bit other things, and we got raccoons and different things too, which they all are around and stuff. So anyways, I wanted to show you, okay, that's the tree over there. Okay, so we got a tulip tree over there. You can see the bottom half of it. It goes like way up there, but that's how it's turning yellow. So there's a lot of different things. Well, the birds are chasing each other right now. Doing birds. Oh, there's a junco right there. I don't know if you can see him. There he is. Junco. The birds seem to be way more active right now. Like it's the last straw. They're like, they must feel the fact that tomorrow's going to be 80 and then it's going to go down to like 60 as a high and then 40s and low 30s as a low for the rest of the season. Now they must be feeling the seasonal change. So they're all getting into their, like, the squirrels are going crazy collecting all the nuts and shit, and it's just a time to prepare for, you know, slowing down, calming down, you know, that kind of stuff. As is with most fall stuff. What I'm feeling too is what happened at work, plus where my issues are health-wise, is that apparently I have, I guess, chronic sinus infections, which always seem to happen around the fall and spring, and then depending on how bad the humidity is during the summer. It's now only become a chronic thing, only because it's been like 5 years that I've had it repetitively, because apparently there's got to be a pattern or something, I don't even know. Never really thought of it before. But my doctor said basically it's because of me having the deviated septum and not having the airflow in here that I need, that is also causing my fatigue and all this other stuff. And that's a blue jay. So a lot of this too, I woke up, had a bloody nose again this morning. I got my humidifier back out, because I know I get bloody noses when the heat's turned on and it's hot in here, and that's going to be an interesting challenge. I know my bones and my body is in a flare-up for, I guess, an autoimmune or whatever, which I have not necessarily been classified as having, but it's a flare-up of something. Could just be because I wasn't completely gluten-free. And I'm really trying, and I've been drinking some pop to keep me going at work and stuff, and I think the stuff in the pop is probably just wiping me out. So I started back up on my supplements again. I'm on the antibiotic for, for my sinus infection, whatever. So I'm on it. Normally I can only do 5 days of it. It's supposed to go for 10. So we'll see how that goes. And usually when I have it, I have more complications and stuff because it kills all the good bacteria too. And I don't have any of my probiotics, and I can't do dairy or yogurt because my body can't digest it, dairy stuff. So it's kind of like a, what do I do now? Right now my funds are kind of, they're here, but they're kind of possibly going to be in limbo for at least one day at work, because yesterday my boss told me that I needed to come in way earlier, and I can't, because the way it's set up here, there's different things at play that I'm like, my schedule has been this way, like noon to 7 for, I don't know, however long, from Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and it's pretty much stayed this way because I have to help Gramp, and Meals on Wheels have to be here, and someone's got to be here for that, and, you know, certain people who we would try to cover can't cover because of one reason or other, which is fine, that's their thing, and that's the way it is, and that's how it's been working for a while. And then all of a sudden, my boss tells me, he goes, no, you have to be here early, like 10 o'clock. And I'm like, well, that's going to be a problem because I can't. And so he's like, fine, then if you can't be here, then I'm going to have to take you off on Wednesdays. And I'm thinking, okay, that's really weird. Because for one, we just lost one of my associates, Alicia. She left. So there's that whole entire thing. I can't work weekends because, well, for one, the weekends are crazy, and then Pearl has her own things for the weekend, and she's alone. And then I asked for, like, extra hours a month and a half ago to 2 months ago now. And he said, yeah, he could, because I'm thinking, like, 4 hours on a Tuesday or a Thursday because my funds were kind of getting weird and I need to pay my Discover. And it was actually quite interesting because he was like, no, we have a Saturday. Which, I get the whole corporate thing, and, okay, you can only be the hours that we have. But if you need the help, you work with who you've got. Now, apparently the girl that they just hired quit. Not even a day in. 1 day, and she didn't do anything. And it was, granted, it was super sale
Friday. It was during the super sale, which is the 40% off sale. And of course, we get a lot of people in. Now, granted, with this whole COVID thing, they didn't really want to do a lot of that because they didn't want to get a lot of people in because of this thing. And so it was kind of a dumb move on my manager's part to do that, and everybody across the board agrees. But he's getting married in like a week. So he's all paranoid about that and things like that. So I don't know what's going on with him, but he is definitely not working with me now because I've been having all these other issues, and he's been working with me up until now. On Wednesday, I had to call in because I was really sick because I had a sinus, that's when I found out I had sinus infection. And then I had a super migraine, and I don't usually have migraines. So, and then apparently the assistant manager told me, who's more considerate and things, he said, well, I guess my manager, Brian, was more pissed off that I didn't even go in to attempt to be there. And I'm like, I couldn't even freaking get out of bed. And I called them at an hour or two so they could at least find somebody. It's not like I called them right when I was supposed to be there. So I did give them about, at least that, but he was pissed that he didn't have another because I didn't know Peyton quit. Peyton was supposed to be working that day. Granted she's new, but at least she could cash people out if they needed it so that the other two, Brian and Doug or whoever else was there, Steve or whoever, could get the orders done and then she could cash out. That's how I started because I didn't get all the training and it took me 3 days to get accumulated because of the process. And when I started with McCormick, my other boss, he just put me on cash register. Just get right in, just cash. You don't have to worry about it. It's okay. If you have experience on a cash register, you're fine. It's all digital. You couldn't know how to make change, things like that. And it tells you. So this was all very interesting. And I think he's been trying to get me out for a while now. He's sympathetic somewhat to my cause, but they told me when my 1-year anniversary came up, which was in August 19th exactly, that my review was going to be shitty. And that I wasn't doing what I needed to because I wasn't retaining the information about what I should be able to retain, which, granted, I get that because I've got too much stress here trying to take care of Gramp and trying to do all this other stuff and worrying about money coming in and stuff. Because when I go to work, it's work, and then when I come home, it's still work. It's not like I get a fun time to do whatever I want and just relax like everybody else kind of can. So it's kind of different. So there's a lot of other different things going on that way. And then he said, there's going to be these goals that you have to meet, and if you don't meet them, then we're going to have to let you go. Which I was kind of devastated at first, but then I'm like, okay, it's corporate. And he said, it's corporate. They don't care about your home life or all the stress that you have. You have to put it at the door. And the assistant manager, Doug, kind of, beat that in a little bit more. He's like, well, I get a lot of issues too, and I have to leave it at the door, which I understand from a corporate standpoint and stuff, and I get that. But what I keep hearing from this company is they don't really fire people, which is interesting. And then I'm like, okay, well, whatever. You guys got to do what you got to do. So then I put in applications for different places and stuff, and it's just, I get callbacks, and it's just, not going through, and I'm just like, okay, what's going on here? Because I put in applications for different places. Because I didn't know if, within 2 weeks they were going to, kick me out or whatnot, and I was like, okay, be proactive and put your applications in so in case they do, you have something else so you're not stuck in limbo, right? So I'm doing that, whatever, and then the next week I go in and he's like, oh, because we lost the other girl, Alicia, and he's like, we're going to make you key manager right now. And I'm like, well, wait a minute, that makes no sense. Key holder is what they call it. Key holder is basically you open and close the store and then you're by yourself for a couple hours, on the weekend or something. Or whenever, 4 hours on, as you're closing or something. Now, me, because I can't do mornings, it would have to be evenings. So I'd be like that. But at the same time, I'm thinking, okay, if I can't retain this information and I don't know anything, and you said that you were going to kick me out if I didn't meet these a week ago, now all of a sudden you're saying that you're going to promote me? That makes no sense at all. After you threatened to kick me out. I'm like, this is just messed up. And then I started seeing the red flags, the manipulation tactics. And I'm like, So I just kept my mouth shut. I'm like, whatever. And then I'm like, okay, even if they did offer me the key position, I wouldn't take it. Because I know that I'm not retaining the information. And I'm not going to assume that responsibility, when I'm not there to be able to give that job what it needs, that position, and then get yelled at for it. and then have them yell at me for not doing this and have the customers yelling at me and then all that stuff. I don't need that crap on top of what I'm doing here. And so I'm like, no, because you guys already said I'm not where I need to be. I know I'm not learning this stuff about the stains. I'm hearing it over and over, but it's not retaining because I'm under too much stress here. And all this other stuff going on. And I have to, all this other, So I'm like, fine. I even said to one of my associates, Steve, I said, I just basically need a job right now with what's going on where I could just cash people out and I just know the certain products, be like, okay, that's that. And then that's it. I don't need to learn new information. I just know what's there and then go from there. But here, you kind of have to know a lot more of the other stuff and you have to move color around, which I'm still not good at and stuff, and I don't do it. To be honest, I don't want to do it because it's hard for me and stuff and it makes me uncomfortable. And then I'm not going to sit there and, watch. The company's wrong anyways. There's more to it than just what I'm saying. But the whole point is the manipulation of my boss and the fact that he says one thing and then goes on another thing. And then all of a sudden, a month later, when I haven't heard anything about these goals or anything, he hasn't said a word to me about that. And then he says Friday he asked me if I could come in at 10 and I said no because of the same reason. I said, Pearl doesn't, she's not available and we have nobody else to cover. And frankly, this is what the schedule has been for a while. I'm sorry. This is just how it is, and then he's like, okay, but he asked me at that point nicely. Then because I called in on Wednesday and then he texted me, we'll discuss it on Friday, which was yesterday. I'm like, great. I know where this is going. But I was like, no, I'm not going to worry about it because whatever happens. It's whatever. It's not like I can prevent it from happening. And to be honest, do I really want to? Because it's already a shit show anyways. And so I went in not feeling great, but I still went in kind of still dizzy on the medication. It's only been like 2 days in, so they said they wouldn't have any, noticeable improvements until 5 days in. And hopefully I can do the 5 days because otherwise I get other side effects from the bacteria thing. Antibiotic. Ugh. You can see I'm still messed up. But beyond that, then he was just like telling me in the morning, he goes, well, what happened? I said, dude, I had a serious migraine. I was in bed. I couldn't get to my phone until like 11 o'clock to text you to come in, and stuff like that. And then Brian's like, well, you should have warned me beforehand because Peyton quit. And I'm like, wow, I didn't know she quit. I'm like, that's not my fault. That's I'm sorry, but that's not on me. I'm like, don't try to, be like, oh, she quit and I had nobody else to cover because this person, it's not my fault. You wanted her to quit. You wanted her to come in and do that. It's not on the rest of us to cover especially when I'm feeling like shit, when your plan doesn't work out. That happens. Kids don't want to, especially if you're having them in there on the worst day, the worst opportunity of all of it, the most, the fastest day, like the most customer day, that kind of stuff. I forgot the word off my hand right now. But that's just kind of how it goes. So you getting mad at me about not, I'm supposed to be there at noon. I texted him at 11. So it's not that I didn't give him enough time to try to figure something out. And it's not like he was the only one there either. He had 2 different people. And maybe he was the only one there at that point because he didn't have somebody else coming in. But at the same time, that's never happened. And I've only called in maybe 3 times since the year I've been there. So it's not like I'm not working with them. I think it's just mainly because he's getting married in a week. And he is concerned and he doesn't want to work on the weekends that he now has to. And it's more of a problem because he had his set way when he was at the other store and now he's at this store. I don't know. And they're getting screwed over by these other people that are calling corporate and getting free stuff when it's really the person's fault and not us. And so I kept telling him, I said, you keep doing this and watch it because people are going to keep doing this if they figure out that, word's going to get around that they're like, oh, well, I complained to this place and I got this stuff. So I'm like, you can be mad all you want, but because your superior is going over your head and first telling you one thing and then completely going around over your head and making you do something else and making you look like a fool, it's not my problem. Don't take it out on me. It's your manager. If you don't like the job, leave. It's simple as that. I mean, and whatever. Don't take it out on your other employees, because it's going to drive us out. And then you're going to be really screwed. Which is where I'm kind of at right now with the whole thing about this. And I'm sorry it's taking so long to get to the point. But what I'm saying is, these things happen. It is the time of change. It is the time of going in and figuring out... Sorry, I got a lot of stuff on my glasses here. What we actually need to do for us and what is no longer serving us. The job wasn't that bad. It was actually one of my most enjoyable jobs. But the fact that if he's going to be spiteful because I can't come in at 10 now and then completely take me off when I'm normally on 11 to 7, and he says he doesn't need me, which, okay, might be because I'm not a closer, but at the same time, I've been doing this the whole entire time, and I've done this all over last year during the fall season too. So it's not that they don't need me. It's just that he's manipulating. He's trying to do scare tactics, and it's not working. What it's actually doing is it's driving me the other way. It's actually causing me to put more applications in to look for a different job. Because come to say that I don't get this Wednesday, that's a lot of money out of my paycheck every single week, and we get paid every 2 weeks. So and I need to pay Discover that lump sum. So Discover won't care whether or not I don't have this or I don't have that. It is what it is. So you doing that and trying to force me to learn, well, my brain just won't do it. And I don't even understand that either, unless he thought that I was BSing him. So if you think that if he thinks I'm BSing him, then that's a bad part on his thing. Like, you don't go and go and try to manipulate somebody into scare tactics. Oh, that's what I was going to show you, the bush out here. Into saying, oh, well, now I'm going to threaten you with quitting and letting you go so that you get scared enough to perform better. That might work for some people, but it's not a good tactic at all when you're in your business. Because people will be like, oh, fine, you want that? I can find another job. Dude, I can go to Mighty Taco. I can go to Mighty Taco and start getting there for 3 days a week for a $7 shift and make $15 an hour more than I'm making the $12 an hour. And now that I don't have the stress with mom and stuff, I'm not afraid of that. I'm not afraid of being in the kitchen. You know? So before I didn't really want to take that avenue, but now I'm like, dude, money's money. You don't want me here? That's fine. I have certain obligations here that I have to be here for Gramp and this stuff, and this is the way it's going. But you don't want that? You don't want to work with me? That's fine. I'll go somewhere else. You get in the people that you think are going to help you, like Peyton, that girl that was supposed to be there, but then all of a sudden she flaked. He actually jinxed himself, too, because he said on walking out, apparently, that day, he talked to my associate. I didn't hear it, but my associate said, and Doug heard it, too, that basically, oh, well, watch this. This will be the last time we see her. And it proves my point about what you think about and what you speak about comes true, okay? So he just jinxed himself with all that. Now, granted, ever since lockdown, it's kind of been a shit show, to be honest, since March. I mean, it's gotten its good points and stuff, and it's been working, but at the same time, I can see the manipulation tactics, and he's getting sick of being manipulated himself, which I understand. But it's not my fault. This is the job that you chose. And if you don't want to do anything about it, and you don't want to do it, then leave. That's what I'm doing, putting in applications, doing other things. And then when he all of a sudden, if I put in an application, I get called back for somebody else, and I'll be like, here's my 2 weeks. And then he'll be shocked. I'll be like, don't be shocked, because this is what you did. You pushed me away. I'm not going to put up with the bullshit. I won't. It makes me sick. And that's why my health is deteriorating, because I can feel it. He did this to Alicia and I. Like, after... Now, granted, there's a cardinal. Granted, Alicia wasn't the best work person. I mean, she knew her stuff, pretty much, but at the same time, she didn't have a really good work ethic. So a lot of times I picked up the slack, or somebody else picked up the slack, and all that. So then when she finally left, she wasn't fired either. She finally left, because this is what they do. They will not fire you. They will lower your hours, and they will make it hard for you to work there, until the point where it pushes you to go and find another job. Interesting, right? Mm-hmm. And then they keep playing the fact that, hey, during COVID, when we got the shutdown, he kept me. So he's playing that card too, which I appreciate. I do appreciate it because it did help me with the money and stuff like that because everybody else was being let go. But at the same time, if I got let go, I would have had twice as much to pay Discover down. And then I'd pay my taxes off in the summer or in April of next year because you have to pay taxes on the unemployment stuff that you get. Which a lot of people didn't think that they would have to, but hello, it's government money. Government always wants their percentage. So, I mean, it's kind of like a catch-22, and I'm like, no, I'm no longer wanting to be in this catch-22. Said if I didn't have the Discover hanging over my head, I'd be like, out. I'd be like, see ya. You know? That's the only reason I'm putting up with it, because I need the money to come in and do that. So it's just a lot of internalizing and learning what's going on. And what bird is that? Is that oh, it's a female cardinal. And realizing that this is kind of like fall weather now, and I don't know if you can see the birds down at the bird feeder. Cardinal. Cardinal's in the tree right there. I can't zoom in, really. But anyways, what I wanted to show you, if I can get it up there, is this bush down here. I don't know, can you... I can't see it because of the glare, but see that red? That red right there? That red is basically that, it's called a, well, it's burning bush. But it's like a thistle type of a thing, like a prickly bush. I'm not sure if it's holly. That's not the holly. We have hollies in the front, but it's at least every time it goes fall, it ends up going red. And so it's basically just showing that it's actually red. Ooh, blue jay. So all the birds are out. Everybody's all looking at stuff. Male cardinals on the feeder. Oh, that was a nice play of red and blue. The blue jay and the cardinal went, whoo! I never really liked fall before, necessarily. It was all kind of a, oh, the flicker's back too. More of a depressing thing, because I'm like, things are dying, I love my green. But right now, it's a different sense. It's a sense of, whoa, hello, blue jay. It was like, it looked like he was going to come right up to me. That things were dying, and I didn't like that, and I got depressed and things like that. But to be honest, I get more stress going into work now. So I know this is the universe telling me this is the best avenue for me to look for a different thing, figure out what to do. And it, actually, if he does let me go on Wednesdays, at least I got the Monday, Fridays. And we'll still have Pearl here, because she likes it. She'll do it fine. And it helps me out, because even if she's still here on the day that I'm not necessarily going into work, it helps me focus on something else, like my side businesses and getting income coming in from that. My Color Street, my Young Living, Healy. Healy's pretty much on the back burner for right now, because that's a little bit different. I'm just a product user for that right now. But there is an opportunity there, if I so chose. But what's more profitable is the Color Street and the Young Living, because right now we're going in the cold season and we need all the, benefits we can. And then of course, with not being able to go into nail salons and having this stuff. I mean, look at this. I've had these on. I don't know if you can see. Let's see if it'll zoom in if I'm out of the picture. I don't know, but I've had this on for almost 4 months, almost 4 weeks now, a month. I first put them on the 8th of September, and now it's the 20-something or other, 25th, 26th, I don't know, almost the 25th. So basically, what I'm doing is since I have nails again, I can do this. And it doesn't even look that bad. Like, if you weren't, unless you saw it right up front, you wouldn't be able to know that the cuticles have grown out and that it's grown out. I mean, it's still there. And I've dinged them. Actually, this one I cut with a razor when I was shaving because the blade got cut, and it's still fine. Nobody can really, you can't tell. I mean, like, unless you really look at the little section in the middle there. It's not zooming in, but, I mean, you can't tell. And it's not like they're smudged or anything, and it's awesome. So this stuff is the shit. Like, and that's the Color Street. and stuff. So I'm really excited about that. I'm going to start working more on that. So actually, to be honest, if he lets me go on Wednesday, I can work on that and get that going. And then come, I'm also doing, I'm in this group called the Multi-Million-Dollar Mindset. Or I guess it's the $1 million mindset. I apparently added multi-million onto there. I'm already thinking big, guys. Where basically you just think positive and you change your thought patterns from lack to abundance. And then it's kind of like you don't react. One of the labs, they call them labs, but one of the practices and the, I guess you could say a little test, like a fun little test to train your brain to switch it off, like that whole lack thing, is to basically what she gave us this time to work on for now, is just the hardest part of it to switch up and get used to, is to not react to things. Like not overly like react negatively to things and like freak out, and just be non-reactive. So like with this thing with at work, I had to like sit there and rethink that, because my initial is blah 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 blah, you know, and that's not going to help the situation either, because nobody, you know, I felt threatened, I felt scared, because I'm like, the first thing I was thinking of was lack. What am I going to do? I'm not going to have that money for that day that he's not going to put me on, and so we need to switch that up. So I need to learn to be like, and then I kind of, within the conversation, I kind of understood it too, because I caught myself, because I also said, well, being corporate, you have to do what you have to do. I understand. But it's kind of funny because in the back end too, they didn't have other people. He does not have other people to cover. So, but at the same rate, we're also getting into slow season. So they might be cutting hours too. I mean, because that's what they do during the slow season. So it's kind of like I'm kind of prepared for it a little bit, for at least that. Because if I do, I'll have 14 hours a week then instead of 21. Can you live on 14? No. So that means I have to make at least $100 that day, like for the Friday, because I'll be out basically $87 or a little bit less, about $80 for that day. So either one, I'll have to find another avenue, or two, I'll have to be able to bring in that money somehow. So these are all things that I'm thinking about. There are changes in the seasons and everything that's going on. The heat's on, dry skin's coming up, hence my lips. A lot of different things are going on. But being here and talking about it, I'm not as upset. I get really upset and sick now. Like, I feel really nauseous and stuff before I go into work, which I've never had, really. I've had it where I've been, like, dreading going into work just because it's annoying and I don't like it. But I've never actually been viscerally sick when I go in. So I know something has definitely changed. I don't know what, but something is not liking me. And I think it's probably because of the manipulation tactics, because me being able to feel people and understand people and read people like that, it is what it is. And the fact that now, 2 weeks ago, this coming Wednesday will be 2 weeks, I broke up with my long-term boyfriend, and that was shit too, because I had to deal with that. So I'm training my brain also to be more positive, see the silver lining in things. And this is also a season, perfect season for transitions. It's all about transitions. It's all about changing the idea of death and lack and all that into positivity. Because if you think about it, a lot of people back in the old days didn't have a lot anyways, but then, you know, they were thankful they had a heath or hearth or whatever, and basically hot water and, you know, fire to warm themselves and clothes on them, and even if they had a little hovel, you know, 4 side walls and a roof, you know, it could always be way worse, and that's what we want to be thankful for. So it's just, the universe is showing me that I've already used and learned what I need to learn from this job, and I'm there as a means to an end, but it's not benefiting me anymore, so of course it's going to have to cut ties. Now here's the other thing. Mercury retrograde is coming up October 14th until November. So if something has to be done, technically it should be done before that or after that. So, because usually during Mercury retrograde you get all the hiccups and all that crazy stuff, and things don't go smoothly, and miscommunication and stuff, because Mercury is the planet of communication. technology and a retrospect, like looking and analyzing what's right for us and what's wrong for us, and then just, you know, for us to do what we want with it. If we think that it's still benefiting us and it's a bad habit or it's not good for us, then it'll cause us more problems. But if it is good for us, it'll work a little bit more smoothly. But little things will be brought up. Sorry, my lips are really, really dry right now. Maybe that's probably why I had a bloody nose this morning, because I didn't put my humidifier on last night. Oh, yay. But anyways, I'm very grateful I have a humidifier to help me battle the heat in the house, so that works. So yeah, and I'm glad that I don't have Mom on my ass anymore. I mean, she was a good person until she wasn't, and then it just kind of all became the disease, and she wasn't herself. And then ever since she passed, within a month, I ended up having my nails, and I didn't bite them. Like, normally, if I had this situation or something, I'd be biting my nails. I wouldn't have any nails. I wouldn't... Broke up with my boyfriend, I wouldn't have the nails. I'd be... No. So it leads me to believe that her energy was just too much. And that's what's kind of going on at work, but to a different degree. But anyways, this video is going on like a half an hour, 40 minutes, so I'm so sorry. But thank you for joining me, and I know there was a lot in this video, a lot of things going on with me, and a lot of things to try to analyze and understand. But I'm going to see where this goes. I'm going to see what happens. If he does drop me on Wednesdays, that's fine. Right now, I don't have any avenues. I'm waiting on a call back for Fisher Price, because that would be $15 an hour for 30 hours for seasonal, whatever, and make double what I had here, and that would work out because it's remoting from home. So I'm praying that that comes through, hopefully, because they start in October for one group and in November for another, so hope him. And then beyond that, I'll just do what I can with what I got, and I'll go from there, and then keep building in other stuff, so... It is what it is, guys. There's no sense in freaking out about it or worrying about it or getting yourself all in a tizzy when you can't change the external reactions. You can change your internal reactions. And that's part of living life. That's what we gotta learn. That's like the biggest lesson, to be able to be non-reactive. When you can master that, then your abundance can come in, because you're not... Dry mouth. You're not hanging on what has to happen or hanging on what should happen and all these things. You're not tied to the outcome, is what I'm trying to say. Whereas you're just living the experience, living the energy. You're letting the energy flow, do what it needs to do. Who knows? Like I said, with this, all this change up might be for better. I might have something way better come that I'm not even aware of right now. Somebody could come up and be like, oh, I need this person to do this. I'll pay you this. And I'll be like, I'm there. You know, or something else might happen and, you know, money might drop somehow or how, or maybe it just free up some other time where I can just do something else that's more beneficial. I don't know. So, anyways, that's my tidbits for today. Enjoy your weekend. Like I said, it's the last really warm weekend of the season. And it's going to be about 80 tomorrow. It's about 78 today. And then we're going to get down in the 60s and then the 50s and 30s. So, or 40s. And then, yeah, who knows? 'Tis the season. Halloween's coming, and Thanksgiving and Christmas, and we'll see how that all goes, and we'll see what this whole pandemic is, if we get another lockdown or not, or who gets elected, and all that crazy stuff. Craziness, right? Only we can see. We can't predict the future. We can just go with whatever energy's there. Just remember, try to just understand and be aware of your reactions. And the more you're... That's my cat, Shadow. Yeep, yeep, yeep. Hi, the kitties. Kitties. Hi, the kitties. Kitties. Oh, I gotta go. All right, talk to you later. Bye. Gramps calling.